Hi, this is Bobby Joe King. I'm up here at the office at Pima County headquarters for Republican Party. I'm here with Brendan Lyons. He is running for LD9 State House. So welcome everybody here in the room and over on YouTube. Brendan, take it away.
Well, thank you all for having me, specifically the Pima County GOP. This is a great opportunity to share my platform, to share my message, to share why I'm running. I am a very first-time candidate, but a single shot, representing, as Bobby Joe shared, representing Legislative District 9 in Arizona's 9th Legislative District, and former firefighter, often responded to the tragic consequences of distracted driving. I launched a nonprofit in 2012 through Look Save a Life, and in a sad twist of irony, a year later went out for a bicycle ride on the morning of my girlfriend's birthday, and we were struck from behind by a distracted motorist at 45 miles an hour. Ended up with very serious injuries: 6 fractured vertebrae, a fractured pelvis. I bit off half my tongue from clinching down upon impact, and it took me away from my career as a firefighter. But laid up in my hospital bed, even at that time, going through all my injuries, I took action, and I worked with legislators to pass Arizona's distracted driving law 6 years later in April of 2019. Prior to that, I helped 15 jurisdictions around the state of Arizona in adopting ordinances. So a month later, after Governor Doug Ducey acknowledged me at his press conference bill signing, being the champion from Southern Arizona on this issue, a month later, I graduated from the University of Arizona, from the School of Government and Public Policy, with a master's degree in public administration. My highlight there was focusing in collaborative governance, where I also served as the president of the Public Affairs Student Association. I am very pro public safety. Clearly, by my previous career as a firefighter, I want to protect those who protect us. I'm pro supporting improving upon a quality education, and I am pro encouraging the growing of jobs in our economy. I want to support public and private partnerships that contribute to our economy. We've done some amazing things downtown with the growing of our Rio Nuevo and our downtown economy. The revitalization of downtown has been incredible, which I will say that one of my incumbents tried to dismantle. She tried to completely tear it apart. The other thing I want to focus on is roads. Of course, everybody here understands and realizes that roads are a terrible thing in Southern Arizona. We need to fix our outdated HERF policy. I can talk in detail about that if you like, but we need to fix our roads and do a better job. So with that, that's my introduction. I would also like to add that this race is so much bigger than myself. And what I mean by that is that in my house, in the House of Representatives in Arizona, the seat that I'm running for, there are currently 29 Democrats to 31 Republicans. And if if Democrats pick up just 2 more seats in the House, it turns blue. And with that will come an increase in taxes, an increase in business regulation. And if it wasn't for our pro-business legislators in Arizona, we wouldn't have had Arizona's $1 billion surplus and $1 billion rainy day contingency fund pre-COVID. And so we set ourselves up nicely to go into this pandemic. Unfortunately, this is going to play a great toll, and unfortunately, we're going to lose a lot of businesses, and a lot of people are going to be hurting. And so I want to champion to bring back job growth in our economy. So with that, any questions?
Education is pretty big in Southern Arizona. Can you kind of go over a little bit of where you stand on the funding part of it and how that works for folks?
Absolutely. So in 2000, there was a proposition that was passed. It was Proposition 301 that was passed to increase 5% to 5.6% in education funding. So 0.6% would be allocated to that. In 2018, Governor Ducey signed a bill that would extend that for another 20 years. I would like to continue to see that improved upon, and I believe that you can improve upon our education by making it a priority when balancing the budget. So we're in a great position that it's not about having to raise taxes. It's about doing it the right way and making it sustainable. So for that, and I'm completely for making sure that parents have the opportunity to choose where son or daughter goes to school. I believe that education is not a one-size-fits-all. I believe that there's opportunities to go outside of your district, especially if it's a failing school district. However, with that said, I definitely want to support those school districts and support public education as well, because I think when we elevate education across the board, we elevate our economy.
So job growth for Pima County, we have pockets that are doing very well, like Marana, but we have pockets that are doing very badly. What can the state legislature do to equalize improvement and help people throughout the county?
Arizona has a constitutional gift clause that in times like this, you're not able to fund private entities. Unfortunately, there's a constitutional rule on that. But really encouraging, I think the model that can be taken is what Rio Nuevo's done. But by cutting that red tape, by cutting regulation, by encouraging business growth, you're also bringing jobs to Southern Arizona that may include those pockets that you might be referencing. So that's one thing that the state can do is make things more economically attainable to both grow your business and start your business here in Arizona. There's a big company, I believe a $1 billion company up in, I want to say it might have been Oregon, but because of all the unrest that's happening out there, they're coming to Arizona. Arizona is positioned very nicely to be an opportunity of growth. And again, if it wasn't for our pro-business legislators, we wouldn't have that $1 billion surplus or rainy day contingency fund. In addition to, I really commend and applaud Governor Ducey for allowing the transfer of licenses from out of state. I'm an honorary commander at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, and their spouses may be nurses from other states. And when they get assigned here at really no choice of their own, but because their spouse is assigned to military installation and they go where they're told, and try to do that, we need to make sure that their spouses can carry on those certifications, those licenses. So I really appreciate that aspect. So that's another way in which Arizona can champion job growth here in Arizona.
One issue that ties into both jobs and education is the lack of available teachers to fill the slots. So there have been various initiatives about reducing the certification process to streamline it so that more people can be eligible to become teachers. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity as long as our teachers are well educated and well trained, to grow our children for tomorrow's future. Absolutely, I'm completely supportive of that. As long as they have the foundational knowledge to teach our children, completely supportive of that. And another initiative that was passed that was not supported by my Democratic colleagues. The incumbents that are currently serving, is neither one of them supported Arizona's 20 by 20. And so that was a great effort, a collaborative effort by a lot of good people, and to raise a 20% increase in salaries for our teachers by 2020. And so I really applaud our legislators who got behind that. In my view, when I worked on this distracted driving ordinance and this distracted driving law, after it was signed into law, was it perfect? No, it wasn't. There was a lot of things that I would like to see within that piece of legislation. However, was I happy? Yes, because you're able to move the needle forward. And as I look at education, I look at that in the same aspect. Are we going to get everything that we want? No, maybe not now. But if incrementally we can move toward a goal, I'm all about it. You have any questions?
Yeah, when we were talking about job growth,
right,
for Pima County, I mean, it's sort of a two-edged sword, I think, because, I mean, obviously we're not as good at attracting good jobs in Pima County as they are in Maricopa.
Sure.
So my question there is, what is Maricopa County doing to attract high-tech jobs that we're not? For one thing, but the other side of the sword that I was commenting is that in some ways, it's nice to be in Tucson. It's not so huge like Phoenix. So it's kind of like, do we really want job growth or not? I mean, we want high-paying jobs in Pima County. but, we really want Tucson to grow as big as Phoenix. So maybe you can comment on both of those things.
Sure. Well, one thing that Phoenix certainly does better than us is their infrastructure. And when people look at where they want to set up shop, I think looking at the infrastructure, looking at education, looking at issues like tort reform, are they going to be subjected to frivolous lawsuits? There's a number of things that when companies come to relocate, they're looking at these issues. And up in the Phoenix area, you have great infrastructure in place, a great interstate system, great roads, and I think that's one aspect to look at this. The other thing is looking at the local government and what kind of red tape do you have to get through? What kind of incentives are you drawing these companies to set up shop in your hometown? And I appreciate what you said on, do we want to be so grown that it's hard to get around? At the same time, when we need to retain young professionals. I recently graduated from the University of Arizona, and all these educated professionals are now leaving Arizona to go elsewhere. Why are we not harvesting that energy and that positive contribution to better our community? And I think that's something that we can do a better job capitalizing
You said something about the HERF being out of date. Can you simply describe to us what the issues are with the HERF program?
Yeah, the HERF program was something set up many years ago that would allocate. It's basically the gas tax, and because Pima County is so largely unincorporated, we see fewer of those dollars back. Now that funding then goes to our county officials, and as long as that's stipulated for our roads, now that's another question that maybe you'd like to have one of your fellow supervisors candidates ask about. But as far as the current HERF policy, I believe that's outdated now. And is it also sustainable? Now we're moving to eco-friendly vehicles and vehicles that are using electricity and different things that aren't utilizing that gas. And so that's what I mean by, is it sustainable to move forward? How can we make it more equitable for Pima County to get its fair share to allocate to our roads? And looking at all this is that's a conversation around our infrastructure and improving our roads.
Well, I have an older car, and so my property taxes are very, very low, which I appreciate. But I put as many miles on the road as people with newer cars. I mean, I don't like to say I want to pay more in property tax on my car, but with the eco cars and the older models, perhaps a fairer tax basis would be the miles we drive in a year versus the age of the car.
That's a very interesting perspective I hadn't considered, with how many miles you put on versus the age of the car. But that's certainly something to be looked at when improving our roads and our infrastructure. You have any questions? Well, to everybody who showed up, I want to thank absolutely all of you for your Oh, we've got one more question.
Yeah, so this is a hard question. So the University of Arizona is here, and so they have our curriculum, right? And
Okay.
I think one of the problems that we have that's leading to a big shift to the left is because the curriculum that was taught at universities. It's true across the country, including the University of Arizona. Somebody's controlling the curriculums that's leading. If you look at the statistics or the political viewpoints of people who graduate from higher education systems, including the University of Arizona, they're way left. In fact, I saw one scary statistic that said that women, for example, that graduated from an educational system, 85% of women that are graduated from universities support things like ATITA, Black Lives Matter, all these far left things. So the universities are teaching. They're guiding students in this direction. So from a state level, do we have any say, in these curriculum that are taught at the universities in Arizona State, University of Arizona, NAU? Is there any control there?
I hear of some curriculum adoptions at the state level for K through 12. I haven't heard of higher education. I can assure you from this perspective, as a recent university graduate, I'm still a proud Republican. So there's hope out there. So that's frankly my response. I can't speak for anybody else, but the deans are the ones who really form up their curriculum at the universities, and the professors help adopting that at a state level. I'm not sure, but I will look into it and I will get back to you.
Yeah, you would think it's a state-funded college, that citizens of the state should have some say in the curriculums that are taught there.
Right. Yeah, what do we need as a state? What do we need as a nation in order to advance through the century and beyond?
But I will say that I'm glad that you brought up higher education. One thing that I am a proponent of is workforce development. We need better trained individuals to go back out into our communities to do the jobs that may be jobs of the past. We need to improve upon our trade industry as well. So it's kind of becoming a lost art. And so I really support programs like JTED and workforce development programs that improve upon. So going through Pima Community College, I went through the fire science program and learned a whole great deal about that. If it wasn't for that great program, that set me up nicely to serve my community as a firefighter. And I want to continue to be able to support programs like that because I also believe that that's a great contributor to our economy.
One final question, just so everybody has it. Can you just go over your contact information?
Thank you.
And
Yes.
all of that?
Yes, my contact information for anybody watching, and as well as all of you, you can reach me at lyons4az.com. That's LYONS, the number 4az.com. And my phone number, I'll give it to you. Anybody can call me up at any time. It's 520-305-9874. And I do encourage you that even if you are outside of Legislative District 9, please go onto my website at lyons4az.com and make a donation. Because once again, if Democrats pick up just 2 seats, we lose the House. So this race and all the races across our great state are in jeopardy. Please help out our local candidates. Vote down ticket. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you for having me.